So I hope that this brings you a lot of value, and I hope that you do walk away with some nuggets today. Today, day one bootcamp is about marketing. It's about getting clients and customers. I'm going to refer to them as clients because it comes naturally to me, because I am service-based, like originally, and it's a client to me rather than a customer. Everybody in business needs clients. Your client journey is something that should be ingrained like a neural pathway of getting up and putting your morning coffee on. It should be in there. And a lot of the time, people get the client journey wrong because they think that it's from the minute that they book to the minute that they've paid, and that's it. And they think that it's a lot to do with, if it's in the salon and the time in the salon, or the time spent, for example, taking photographs. But the client journey actually is way before. It starts way before and it ends way after. And hopefully it actually doesn't end for a long time. So what I want you to think about are things like, how often do you want to see your clients? And you might have different categories of clients. And if you do, for example, my coaching clients, I will see different at different timescales. Whereas if it was the salons or waxing clients, we want to see them quite regular. So how often do you want to see your client? We're going to start at the very beginning of the client journey. You have a person, and it tends to be initially somebody like you, because before we go further in the client journey, if you think about the reason why you started doing what you started doing, it tends to be that you have either experienced something that you didn't like or that you did like and that you wanted to recreate or create a new version of. So way at the start, before they've even thought about you or even thought about looking for you, what is it that your client needs? So what does your client need, and what's going to inspire them to start looking for you? So when you have, and as I say, you're not going to have one particular client. As much as you'll hear when you do a lot of business training, you've got to niche down and you've got to get your avatar. Has everybody heard of an avatar? Quick hand up. Yeah. Naomi, have you heard of an avatar? No? Kind of. So your avatar is your ideal client, and it's the ideal client profile, basically. So it's the profile of that ideal client. And a really good exercise is to revisit your avatar. So you might think that you know it because you've heard of it and because it's like used over and over again in a lot of business training. But a really good exercise that you can do is your client avatar and refresh that. And really every single stage of your business, you should be refreshing it or adding other avatars in. So an example would be for the salons. We have such a diverse group of avatars because we are specialist waxers, and we wax men, we wax women, we wax non-binary, trans, and instantly that's different avatars. So that's 4 different avatars, but then you need to get further into your avatar profiling and you need to find out what it is that they all have in common that they would want your service for. So all of these avatars, if you can imagine them all at the bottom, it begins with gender and age, and then it begins with what kind of life they live. And what by that I mean, are they going from month to month and spending all their wages, or do they have money that they would spend on things that they enjoy in life? And that goes for if you're the type of business that isn't required. So waxing isn't required. However, we've branded it and we've managed to get into this this way of thinking, like our clients into this way of thinking that actually waxing is a necessity. But when it comes to it, and we've all been through COVID, when it comes to it, it's not a necessity. So it's one of the first things that go if that person's struggling for money. So if you're one of those things, then you'll have to learn how to become really important to that client. So we've got the gender, we've got the age-ish, and then what we've got is how they spend their money. And then after that, what you've got is what problems does your avatar have? What problems does the person have that you have the solution for? And when you're answering these, I wouldn't answer them any more than maybe 5 things. Like, give your 5 things, 5 problems that you could solve for that person. When you've got that, if it doesn't tie in with your business, then you have to think about what other avenues you can take if you want that avatar, or you have to think about creating another avatar. So you have to think about it's a different person, because there's a lot of the time that we go for the same people, because at the start of our business, some people will naturally gravitate towards us, and it tends to be friends, family, friends of friends. But I was going to say 9 times out of 10, a lot of the time, those are not your ideal clients. Your ideal clients will come from a cold audience, a cold origin. And by that, I mean, they're not going to know you. They're only going to know the problem that they have, and they're only going to find you when they're looking for a solution. So that's a little bit on the client avatar, and I can kind of coach you guys through more of the avatar. I'm going to do all these little parts through the Facebook group, and I'm going to get I'm going to ask you guys to share some of your avatars, just like one of your avatars. So I do want you to do the work here, because there's no point in sitting listening to me drone on and then you get fuck all from it. So this is your first task. So your first task is to find out 5 avatars, but share one of them in the group. And I'll put up a post so that it's all kept together. So when you're on the Facebook group, I'll put up the avatar post, and that's where all the comments will be, just so that it's nice and clean, and it doesn't mess up the group, and it's just so that we can all go back into particular chats and see what everybody else has got. You're going to find it really useful to see everybody else's. Some people they'll naturally go into more detail, others won't. The details that I was going into was as much as what their credit card limits were and how many credit cards they had, because that to me tells a story of how they spend as well, and what ones were maxed out, if they were and if they weren't. And so our client avatar, for example, for Peaches, one of them is 30 something, so kind of 32 to 40. She's in a professional job, and she earns 35 grand plus a year. She has got 2 credit cards, but it's always just for paying for things and paying it off. So she's always got money, and it's always there, but she's also got a good wage that she can fund her. She's always got her lights and stuff like that. So she's always got her nails done, and she, of course, gets her waxing done every month. Her nails are as important as her waxing. She gets her lashes done sometimes, but not all the time. And if you know me, can you see how I'm kind of describing a lot of myself? Like, it's a lot. You're going to find that your avatar resonates with you, but it's not your friends, because our friends aren't like us. So don't just go straight to your friend and think and write their profile down. So have a real good think about it. The problems that our avatar have are that they do not like shaving, and they don't feel clean enough shaving. They want it to last, and they want that feeling of being waxed because they know that that makes them feel better. They are grooming regime is that they don't want to do it themselves because they don't have the time, or they've got other things that they can spend that time on, therefore pay somebody else to do it. So they're not dyeing their own hair, they're not shaving their own bits, they're not waxing their own legs. Their values, which is something that you really need to hone in on. What are their values? So again, 5 values of your avatar. One of them has to be sinking into your business. So once you've got some avatars, you then start to understand who is coming in and who's looking for your business. And it's at that point where you can then really start to talk to your clients and your messaging. And your messaging is going to get you clients. So this is the thing. This is where we're going to kick it off here. All your messaging is going to be right or it's going to be wrong for the person that is looking at it. The person that it's right for will start to look more. What you want is you want to capture that person, and you want to hit somewhere deep. And this is why I'm saying find out what your avatar's problems are. What is your clients are already there, and your clients are waiting to spend money on the thing that you have. How can you tell them that you are the thing that they need? You have the thing that they need. And what is it that brings them? So your messaging, and this goes for social media posts, it goes to any websites that you've got. It's saying that my connection's unstable. Can you all hear me? Okay. I'll give it a wee second. I'm sure it's because Arlo is on Fortnite. Right, keep putting in the chat and I'll get back to this now. So so where were we? The avatars and how it syncs up to your messaging, right? So if you think about the problem that they have, or the issue that they have, or the thing that they need help with, because it's, when I say problem, it can sound quite strong. Sometimes they just need help with something. Or how can you make, this is another way to ask it, how can you make their life easier? And sometimes that makes it easier to explain what you are to them, what value you are to them. So this is still at the start of the journey, as you can tell. This is still way at the start. Your client doesn't even know that they've got a problem. Then they come into the problem or the thing that they need help with, or the thing that they need fixed, or the something, fill in the blank, that makes their life feel better. And the last one is, or the thing that makes them feel better. Because actually at the top of the pyramid as to why your client will buy from you, it tends to always be that you've made them feel good, whether that's because you've made their life easier, you've made them look physically better, you've made them feel mentally better, or etc. So it's got to be something that makes them feel good, because that is top tier. That's top tier. So when you start to create your posts, what happens a lot of the time, so we're going to go to social media here. A lot of the time people will post what they are doing, and there'll be before and afters, there will be pictures of your work. But what a lot of the time, what a lot of people do a lot of the time is forget to connect with the audience on a emotional basis and like an emotional level. And the content that gets the most views or the most hits is either going to be emotional or it's going to be educational. So it has to be one of the two, and if you can get both, then great. But it's always going back to that problem, always. So if your client has 5 problems, then spend 5 weeks doing one at a time in your messaging. It's the same but different. So your social media should be the same but different. So if you've got 5 problems, for 1 week, you target one of those problems. And then for the following week, so it could be, Laura, for you, when you're asking if you have wedding couples, what could the problem be? The problem is that they firstly don't have a cake and they need one. They haven't found one yet if they're looking and they're coming to you. But what are the things that they're asking you? What are the things, I'm going to unmute you just now. What are the things that they're asking you? I wasn't going to do this until the end because I was going to record this for, but I'll just cut this bit out. Okay, so what is it that your clients come to you, or before they've even paid, what do they ask you?
Availability is the first thing.
Not price?
If I'm available. No, they're always quite, price is one of the first things that I talk about. They're always quite reluctant to say this is how much we want to spend. But it's one of the first questions that I ask them, because I've had so many times where I've spent hours on end with people and then their budget's like something really ridiculous. It's like not even achievable. So it's the first question I ask them, and even that sometimes they can still be a bit hesitant, but that's probably where it either carries on or it just completely cuts.
Do you have a different pricing structure? Do you have like a 3-price structure?
So basically I've got like a minimum pricing structure. So I have like minimum pricing for wedding cakes, and different for like buttercream, different for fondant finish, and then obviously different for celebrations.
Okay. Could you create a 3 pricing structure where you then, so their problem, so it's not that they have a problem, but they have something that's going to make their life easier. So that's where I was kind of like, and I think you put this up before I had said that, but that it's not as such an issue that they have,
Yeah.
but they don't want to make their own cake. And
Uh-huh.
they don't want to ask somebody that they know to make their own cake, and they want
Mhm.
somebody professional to make their own cake.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
if you were to just do a little bit of research and actually ask everybody that you have ever done a cake for, wedding, like celebration, etc., sling them a text and just say, what made you choose me?
Mhm.
And then from that, you're going to get loads of data.
Yeah.
And just say honestly, was it the price? Was it the design? What was it that made you choose me over someone else?
Mhm.
And you'll get loads of data from that. But there isn't a problem as such, but it's this cake is going to make her life easier, and
Yeah. I
it's an
think
emotional thing.
yeah, I think that's where I was confused, because I was like, it's not really a problem they've got. But then I get it. It's like, why do they need me, kind of thing.
Okay. Oh, there's
Uh-huh.
always a reason why they need you, and there's always, we'll either make them feel better or make their life easier.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, I'm going to mute you.
Okay.
So we've got we've got the reasons as to why the clients are looking to buy what we have to buy. And it doesn't matter if it is luxury or necessity. A lot of the time what will happen is that luxury becomes a necessity because luxuries make us feel good, or they free up our time. So making us feel really good about ourselves or freeing up time that none of us have enough of are 2 of the reasons why your thing becomes a necessity. But it's just about trying to get in that, like really clarify that messaging to your client as to exactly how you're going to do that for them, how you're going to free their time and make their life easier, how are you going to make them feel really good about themselves, or how are you actually going to improve them as a whole, or their business, or whatever it is that you're going to do. So your social media messaging has to resonate with the values and the issues, etc., of your avatar. It's got to be what they are thinking of. that will make them buy your thing. The content that does the best on socials, it doesn't have to be you're up there and your face is up there. It doesn't have to be that you've got a shit ton of followers either anymore. The algorithm has changed that much, and it still continues to change. And the charlatans will be like, we've hacked the algorithm. I can tell you exactly what it is. But see, at the end of the day, my belief is that you will go viral because of chance. And if you keep the consistency up, it doesn't matter if you've got 100 followers or 100,000 followers. If you keep the consistency up, the right people are going to be watching you, and it takes time for people to buy from you, always. So you're very rarely going to get a one-hit wonder. So for that reason, it's really important that you stay consistent with your messaging, and it's that you're hitting that point again, like, why do they need me? Here is my thing every single day. There is an algorithm. I'm not saying there isn't an algorithm, but there isn't an algorithm to go viral. However, if you've got 100 followers and your reel hits 2,000 people, then that reel has gone viral for you. And it's about going viral for you, or getting out there to the masses for you, not for anyone else, and not for half the people that you probably follow either, because they'll have like loads of followers. What you've also got to remember is that a lot of people who have got a lot of followers tends to have been on some kind of platform or stage or program or podcast, etc. So trying to pull away from like thinking that that's where you need to be, and coming back into your own page. How could you make that better, and how could you speak to your clients and the clients that are about to be your clients even tighter? Like, how can you tighten it all in, and just imagine that you're in a room with them one-to-one, and what are you saying? Get that into your posts. What are they saying to you that they wish that they had, or that they wish that they felt, etc. And really tie that into your messaging. So with your posts, I want you to make sure that when you're creating a post, and this, as I say, you don't have to be on in front of the camera with the subtitles going up and flashing in like big letters. You don't have to do that. What you do have to do though, is have a video. And you can still, there is still a place for like carousels and pictures, but it's very few and far between. If you're going to put one picture up, don't put 3, 4, or 5. And the reason being is that if I go in and I see one of Laura's pictures, if there's a carousel and I come out of Instagram, if there's one picture, it's gone. If there's 5, then every single time I go back into Instagram, I'm going to see the next one, because it slides over. So I don't slide it over. Instagram actually pushes the next photo in. And so then you see it. So you're giving them 5 times to see it. So do not put the best picture first, which is what everybody does. Put it last. As much as you want to make your grid look good, like put your best, either your best quote or phrase or educational piece, put it at the end. Because what's going to happen as well is, if they're on Instagram 3 times today, by the 3rd time they've seen your post, they're like, right, what is she saying? And they'll probably then scroll to the end. Also, have an arrow or some kind of call to action, which, and a call to action, if you don't know, is something to tell them what to do. Have an arrow or something that tells them to swipe. But every platform, because think about TikTok, right? Every platform is now favouring video. Even Facebook is favouring videos. Have you got, don't know if you'll go down Facebook and you'll start to see everybody's reels on Facebook, right? So even Facebook is trying to favour the videos. And we're in, and in all honesty, I wouldn't at this moment in time worry about TikTok because it could be shut down still. So, but what you want to do is you want to create your Instagram like TikTok, because what's going to happen is all of these people are going to need their stimulation from somewhere, and they're all going to flog back to Instagram or Facebook. Albeit a lot of them will be of the younger generation, but we can still help them. So,
But the ones that might be getting married.
well, they're getting married young now. Like, I mean, I say that because we're fucking 40 odds. Like, what? And we've got celebrations when they're younger anyway, Laura, you're fine. Right, so avatars into your messaging, is everybody kind of clear on that? And like, is there something there that's been like a little bit of a light bulb kind of flashing on? Or is there just nothing? It's always like, yeah, okay, got one thumbs up. Can see he's writing. So with your social media as well, there is another angle that you can go down, and it's an angle that people are a little bit scared to go down, because what happens is people gatekeep their all their information and all of their knowledge, and people get really scared of giving that knowledge out, because what if someone else does what I do? I don't need to tell you how many people there are in the world, and I don't need to tell you how many people are in this country. And actually, we don't need to even stick to this country for our clients, our potential clients. When you're given educational content, it goes to places that you can't even imagine. So, and I'm going to chat later on in the week about how you can start to think about revenue that isn't person to person, and maybe think about another, like, what shall we say, like arm to your business where it could maybe draw in a little bit more revenue without you having to do the thing. You do it once and then you earn over and over and over again. And we'll talk, as I say, we'll talk about that later in the week. But right now, I want you to start thinking about, how could I make money? What could I give that people will pay for, even if it's £20, like whatever it is. I'm not talking about the money right now as in how much, but what could you create out of your knowledge that you have now that people would be interested in? It's like how-to guides, and it's like little courses, mini courses. It's like this. Like, I'm going to put a lot of time into this week, and for very little compared to what I would charge somebody for coaching. But this is like, you guys are not going to, like, I'm going to try and fucking sell you guys later in the week. Come and go get coached by me. But like, it's all for a purpose. But also, if you don't sign up to my coaching, it doesn't matter. You might sign up to another bootcamp later. You might sign up to one of my courses and keep it forever and just refer back to it. Like, there's so many angles that you can go down. You don't just have to be doing the thing that you're doing. And it's true. It's like, recipes are, my connection's unstable again. This is going to be a great recording. I know I've just saw it going. I saw my connection thing coming up there. I mean, the recording on my side is going to be great, but not for you guys. So yes, recipes are a great example of what you could probably give, and you could probably have a recipe book so that you've got a load of them. You create them, you make them look pretty, and then you sell the book for £10. And whoever hits your social media or your website, like, download, and that, you've already got somebody coming into you who has said you are worth money to me, and therefore they become from a cold client into a warm client, warm prospect, so you can then upsell. So I'm going to try and get you all to think about different ways this week, but that's not today's homework. Today's homework is the avatar and the messaging. But this is where we're going to go with the messaging, because you can't just put out the work. Like, we can think about waxing. So I've had multiple waxing salons, but it's Brazilian waxing that we specialize in. You cannot put up a Brazilian wax before and after on socials. And I know that some people do. It is not to my taste. And also, Instagram can shut you down instantly if somebody reports it. And so we've had to get creative about how we do our socials. And we test so many things. But the stuff that comes out on top is the educational stuff. Like, Cassie, I've said to you as well, like, we've spoke about this before, like, get in on the, like the skin boosters. Don't just give them a before and after. Tell them exactly what it is that they need to do with the skin booster, but what it does as well. Like, what does a skin booster do? What level, what layer of skin are you putting it into? And why is it working? Why is it tightening the skin? It's like stuff like that. Naomi, I would say with your photography as well, go as far as telling them how to set up. Like, I don't know if you use an iPhone, but I went down a rabbit hole of how to take a really good photo on your iPhone. And I know that that feels like you're giving away your thing for free, but when you start to position yourself as the person that knows all this, then people start to pay you for the thing that you're offering. And so, yes, they might take some of their own, but you're also going to like scatter in your quality of photos that are going to be way better than an iPhone, and you'll scatter that in. And then when somebody really wants to treat themselves and make them feel really good, then they're going to be like, well, that's where I'm going to go for the boudoir shoot because I can't get that myself. But they'll think about you because you're the person that taught them how to set up their iPhone camera. And I know that in the group alone, there will be people who need to know that information, so you can test it with them. It's like things like that. So how can you do like hints, tips, educational pieces? And it's got to be something that obviously aligns with the values, aligns with their problems or the thing that they need to make their life easier. And then lastly, I am going to talk about paid ads. The elephant in the room when it comes to marketing is paid ads. It's something that new businesses very rarely do, but it's something that if you do, you get somewhere and then you go beyond where other people can imagine. And then those people are like, how did you get that busy? And it's paid ads. I'm not saying you need to put loads and loads and loads of money into them because there's ways that you can do it. What I am saying is, though, that you should find somebody, and I can help you with this, because I've got a list of people who have tried and tested. I've got a list of people who are okay at it, who will get you results, and I've got a list of people who are shit hot at it and will I guarantee you results. But when you've got a website, you need to drive traffic to that. The only way that Google are going to help you drive traffic to your website are if your Google My Business has got loads of good reviews from all different months of the year. So it's great to hit out on your clients now to be like, give me a review and can you stick it on my Google? But if they're all within that 1 week and then nothing happens, Google's just going to be like, she asked them once and then that's it. So they're not going to pick up on that. Algorithms need algorithms. So they need those consistent hits. So Google has its own algorithm that nobody will ever, ever, ever know. And so Google Ads is a constant learning like platform. It needs somebody who is it's all that they do. And it's all that they do because they keep having to learn new things. And with Google Ads, it is the quickest way to, and this is only if your clients are there, but it's the quickest way to get a cold audience into your website and for them to find out about you. In saying that, your client has to be on Google. So by that, what do I mean? with waxing again, I'm going to use that as an example. With waxing, people don't tend to, some women tend to ask their friends, do you get waxed? Where do you get waxed? However, the first place that you're going to go isn't going to be Facebook, and it's not going to be Instagram, because you can't type in waxing in Glasgow, waxing in Stirling, Aberdeen, wherever, right? You can't get the results from that search better than what you can in Google, because the minute you get it in Google, what do you get? You get a list of all of the businesses that wax and their reviews and their fucking location. So you're getting all of this information. If you're not there, you're not there. Like, they're not even going to look at you. Have a think about, where is your client going to be looking for you? And then get to there and really kind of maximize where you are. What I would say is, don't ever rest on your laurels for anybody. Like, don't ever think that what you've got set up is enough. Always kind of get in and be like, right, what is this doing? What is that doing? We have tried Facebook ads, for example, for the salons. Facebook ads for the salons did not do well. We weren't getting anybody. Facebook ads for the training academy did immense. Like, they quadrupled what I was spending every single week. Therefore, it was working. Google ads for coaching is like really expensive. Clients in the salon, they are looking on Google, so it was like it's a no-brainer. But as I say, clients on Facebook for the salon, it didn't really work. So just consider where you're putting money into. To kind of wrap things up, I want you to get into your client's head, get really into their head. So why are they booking you? Why are they not booking you? So what would stop an avatar booking you? Write all these down. What is the problem that they have, or the part of their life that they need to feel better about, or more ease, or get more time with? And what is the solution that you can give them? And that is Bootcamp Day 1.